Coming up, a possible signal that Roe versus Wade could be overturned.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News at 11.
Good evening, I'm Steve Hensley. We begin tonight with a bombshell out of the nation's capital. A draft opinion circulated among Supreme Court justices suggests a majority of them support overturning Roe versus Wade, the case that legalized abortion decades ago. That's according to a report published tonight by Politico. Now, Politico says it has verified the draft, although the final opinion, of course, has not been released. That's expected sometime this summer. According to the draft, the court would overturn Roe v. Wade, ending the federal constitutional right to abortion. Here in Kentucky, lawmakers have already passed a trigger law that would immediately ban abortion in the state if Roe v. Wade is struck down. Of course, there will be much more to go on this in the weeks and months ahead. Now, there was a federal court hearing today on Kentucky's recently passed pro-life omnibus law, or House Bill 3. The ACLU and Planned Parenthood went to court immediately after House Bill 3 took effect. They did so on behalf of Kentucky's 2 abortion centers. The 2 groups pressed the court to block the bill. State Representative Nancy Tate, who is a lead sponsor of House Bill 3, spoke at today's hearing.
The bill is referred to as humanity in health care, and so it's not really whether or not abortions are legal in the Commonwealth. That's actually going through and determining whether or not we can make these abortions as health conscious as possible, as long as they're legal.
A federal judge in Louisville issued an initial temporary injunction against House Bill 3 on April 21st. It was set to expire later this week, but has now been extended for 2 weeks.
All quiet tonight around the mountains weather-wise as we run through the remainder of our Monday and into Tuesday. Enjoy the quiet weather now because changes are on the way. Outside at the moment, UVA-wise camera. It's all quiet on the campus at this hour, as you'd expect, just past 11 o'clock, low 60s. I-64 at Moorhead, traffic moving in good shape this evening, continuing to watch. All quiet, at least weather-wise. Highs today were quite toasty. 79, the official high. Hazard, Middlesboro, Jackson, Prestonsburg. 78 in London, Harlan, and Monticello this afternoon. It was a warm one out there. We got nearly to 80 degrees. Felt pretty nice. We didn't have a lot of that moisture in the air, so it wasn't muggy. Low to mid-60s in many spots this evening. A lot of us, some of us actually, still near 70. Jackson's at 67, Pineville's at 69. So it is still mild in some spots. Satellite and radar, nothing around us, but we look off to the west and we see showers and thunderstorms increasing to our west. That's something we'll have to keep a close eye on. For tonight, though, looking dry. Clouds, though, on the increase. Low 60s with light winds. I'll have the very latest on when storms could move in and if they could be on the strong to severe side coming up in just a few minutes. Steve?
All right, Evan, thank you. The 48th Poor Man's Harlan County Derby Eve Party is back in Lexington after a 2-year hiatus. Each year, the party raises money for a different charitable organization, and this year, it's going to a church in Harlan. WYMT's Zach Hawk met with members of the Christ Episcopal Church to learn how it will make an impact on their community.
Parker Boggs is a member of the Christ Episcopal Church in Harlan. Nestled in the downtown area, this church is close to its congregation.
For the last 38 years, I've been a member of the church, and it's been very important to my family. My wife plays the organ.
Like many churchgoers, Boggs is active in the community, and so is Tara Bryson, another longtime member.
While we're a small church community, we have always pulled our resources and our work to be able to give to other people or organizations.
Thanks to the Poor Man's Harlan County Derby Eve Party, that good work will continue. They're not sure exactly how the money will be spent just yet, but Archdeacon of Mountain Ministry, Brian Kibler, says the fundraising will sustain their mission.
I've been working with this church since 2014, and it's a wonderful congregation, very caring for what goes on, Your presence will help us to be able to reach out and do more within the Harlan County.
The founder of this yearly party, Bill Morgan Jr., lives in Florida, but is from Harlan. He spoke with our sister station, WKYT, about the meaning of the party.
You got to stay humble. If you don't stay humble and you get, too high and mighty, when God goes to cut you, it's a long way to fall. I'd rather stay humble.
Church leaders tell us that 100% of the funds will go towards charitable work. In Harlan, Zach Hawk, WYMT Mountain News.
The members of the church told us they are grateful for this gift. Leaders will make a plan for how the money will be spent after the fundraiser. In the past, they have worked with various organizations like With Love from Harlan, the Hope Center, Reading Camp, Christ's Hands, and many others. In Whitley County, jail officials tell us 2 inmates nearly escaped Friday night. They say quick action from jail guards and police stopped them from getting out. Williamsburg police tell us they were called to the jail about an inmate having a medical emergency. It turns out they say he was in on it. They say Paul Brock, a convicted murderer, and Nicholas Rucker, an accused murderer, trapped guards in a cell after they tried to help the inmate having the emergency. And they say more people may be involved.
We do know that Brock had a plan. It was a pretty elaborate plan, and we know it involved other individuals, and we fully intend to charge those other individuals.
The jailer, Brian Lawson, says he does not believe the community was ever at risk. He also says Brock and Rucker are now in isolation cells, and Brock is still waiting to be transferred to a state prison. The country music world continues to mourn the loss of Kentucky native Naomi Judd. The death of the country music icon was announced Saturday by her daughters Ashley and Winona. They said she died from the disease of mental illness. A doctor we talked to said having conversations about mental health can be difficult, but they need to happen so people can live positive lives.
If you're more mentally sound or feeling better, you're going to take your medicine, get out, see people, talk to them, go to work, do the things that you have to do to take care of yourself in the day. And if that goes south or you're not in a good place mentally, then a lot of those things start falling by the wayside.
Naomi Judd was 76 years old and died the day before the Judds were inducted into the Country Music Hall of Fame. If you are needing help, you are encouraged to reach out to your doctor. Kentucky State Auditor Mike Harmon says his office will do a special examination of Kentucky State University. In a statement, Auditor Harmon says they'll look into financial activity at the university. It will focus between July 2019 and June of last year. During the legislative session, lawmakers included $200,000 in the budget for the Auditor of Public Accounts to examine KSU. Tomorrow is the last day to request an absentee ballot in this year's primary election. Only certain voters qualify. You can submit your request at govoteky.com. You can also check your registration status and look at sample ballots. The primary is 2 weeks from tomorrow, May 17th. A study published in the scientific journal Nature Aging shows that the middle-aged and older population should try to get around 7 hours of sleep a night. Researchers say those who get that amount of shut-eye are likely to have stronger memories and a better ability to learn new things. The data also shows older adults who have trouble falling asleep can have a greater risk of dementia. The findings are based on information from some 500,000 people between the ages of 38 and 73 years old. Life is much more normal now after 2 years of living through a pandemic, but the concerns are not completely gone. Health experts say COVID cases are slowly ticking back up in some parts of the state. Kevin Hall with the Lexington-Fayette County Health Department says 2 weeks ago, Lexington saw a weekly average of 30 new cases per day. Now it's a weekly average of 57 new cases a day. He adds hospitalizations are likely to go up some too. Health experts say be mindful of your symptoms as flu season lingers and allergy symptoms spring up.
Only about 48% have the recommended booster vaccinations. So it's important to complete the series. We need people to be mindful of those symptoms. So if you've got a cough, you've got a fever, it's better to be safe than sorry. Get tested.
As people get back to their normal lives, Hall says it's important that you do so cautiously. He adds anyone 50 or older or immunocompromised are eligible for a second booster 4 months after receiving the first one. The American Academy of Pediatrics reports COVID cases are rising again in children. More than 53,000 kids tested positive last week. That's up 44% from the previous week and marks the third consecutive week of increased cases. For $10, you can take a chance at a truck to benefit Trooper Island. Troopers from Kentucky State Police Post 9 set up outside the Pikeville Walmart today, selling tickets for this year's Trooper Island raffle. Each chance at the 2022 GMC Sierra 1500 helps fund Trooper Island, offering kids ages 10 to 12 a chance at a unique summer experience.
You can ask anyone that's been to Trooper Island. It's just a great experience for the kids. The kids get to go down for an entire week. They get to fish, canoe, build bonds with the other campers and also with the troopers there on the island.
Post 9 is still creating its roster for the upcoming summer. You can find out how you can enter the raffle or enter a child for a spot at camp on our website. Well, are you ready for summer and good times? Your bank account better be. The cost of those summer camps is expected to skyrocket this year. Experts say you can expect to pay up to 15% more to send the kids off. A lot of that is because of inflation and things like on-premise COVID safety protocols, but it's also due to good old-fashioned supply and demand. More families than ever are looking to let their kids have the interactions they missed out on when many camps shut down. About 26 million kids are expected to enroll in camps this summer. Longtime TSA PreCheck provider IDEMIA is launching its new TSA PreCheck Enrollment initiative at the Louisville Muhammad Ali International Airport. The program aims to simplify the enrollment process for travelers by bringing TSA PreCheck enrollment to travelers at the airport. With TSA PreCheck, you don't have to remove your shoes, laptops, liquids, belts, or jackets.
But every time they fly in the future, they will get to go through a shorter line that's secure and safe and better customer service, not just for the TSA PreCheck people, but all the people that aren't TSA PreCheck. So this is a win-win-win for all parties.
Now, normally you apply online and then go to an enrollment center, but this new initiative lets the entire process be done as you wait for your flight or after you get off. Last night, Louisa native Noah Thompson made it to the top 7 on American Idol. Tonight, Harlan County's Jordan Smith announced he's moving on in another competition. The winner of season 9 of The Voice is now going to the grand final on NBC's American Song Contest. The show involves artists representing each state or territory competing to have the country's best original song. Jordan is, of course, representing Kentucky and singing his song Sparrow. Dozens of seniors gathered aboard the Belle of Louisville today for the boat's practice run in preparation for the Great Steamboat Race. They were dressed in hats and bow ties for the Great Steamboat Race trials. This outing is part of Trilogy's Live a Dream program. It's kind of like Make-A-Wish, but for seniors.
And this is amazing for our residents, for them to be able to get out, get fresh air, get dressed up, have just a wonderful day in the water. I mean, it does amazing things for the spirit. It's great social engagement for them. There's a lot of benefits.
It will be a battle of 2 belles and a countess along the Ohio River. The race will take place on Wednesday. Coming up on Mountain News at 11, a recent report ranks the best high schools in each state. We'll tell you what 2 local districts were among the top 15 in Kentucky.
And stormy weather on the horizon tomorrow and through much of the work week. The latest on our active pattern next.
There is no pecan chicken